Everything starts with both brothers traveling towards the Hallelujah Mountains. After a lengthy absence, Loach finally reunites with his brother Neteyam. He was pleased and demonstrated some tricks he had mastered. After flying up and down, the two brothers embrace and high-five. But Loach must leave. His brother understands but would like to ask a question. He wants to know how he died. Sadly, Loach informs him that they were attacked while was attempting to rescue Spider when he got shot in the back. Neteyam has no resentment toward his brother and knows what occurred. It was necessary. Loach must forgive himself. He hugs him and bids farewell. Now the narrator is Loach, not Jake. Regardless of his emotions, he misses his sibling, and his guilt will be his biggest sin. On the surface, Syria was waiting for him. He communicated with her, but she was unable to communicate with her ancestors because doing so would kill her. This is why her family disallowed it. Spider jokes, "I'm with her." Every day on Pandora there were eclipses. During these hours, Nati mourns her son's loss by singing her song, praying, and hoping that his soul can rest properly. Jake, on the other hand, has a different strategy for avoiding grief. He gathers armaments from the old ship from the previous film. Loach and his fiancée join him as he searches for appropriate weaponry to present to his father. There, they discover Nati's bow. Loach shows it to his father, who urges him to get rid of it because when his mother sees it, she will be furious. Even yet, he conceals it. When Ronal arrives, she scolds her daughter and inquires about what she was doing with them. Spider shows the locals how to wield the weapons. Jake does the same and instructs Tonawari how to utilize them. These weapons are effective, lethal, and extremely useful, but they have a custom. Their citizens must not use metal weapons. The Sky People's weapons are outlawed because they rot the spirit. Ronald also reprimands him and informs him that instead of fishing for guns, he should be with his wife, supporting her through her grief and being a better companion. Jake, on the other hand, goes to great lengths to support and assist her. They desire vengeance. The conflict will happen, but this is the path. They can't win with arrows, but with these weapons they can. Tonawari responds that if he wants to win the fight, Tukmakto must return. But Jake refuses since Takoto's return will cause widespread upheaval. His mental state shifted when he interacted with the monster. He only wanted to. He kills and eliminates his adversaries. Everything will fall apart if he reverts to his former self. Tonawari demands that he abandon these things and continue to grieve. Meanwhile, Quaritch wants to find Jake, so he organizes a simple errand. Perhaps he has failed previously, but he is eager to correct his error. At night, Loach requests Ronald's bow. She informs him that she sees him and will be there for him in any situation. The next day, Jake informs Nati that they would be returning to combat sooner or later, so he makes a special arrow for her. Neytiri refuses breaking the arrow. Jake complains, telling her he wants retribution and finds it aggravating that she prays at all hours of the day. She must be with her family. However, Nati stops him and tells him, through tears, that he has no idea how she feels. She lost her father, she has lost her son, and is not among her folks. All she has left is her loyalty to the wonderful mother, Eywa. She believes that the great mother will provide. Jake apologizes and hugs her. While they were grieving, Spider, Lochak, and Tonawari's kids spent time with Payakan. While they were sleeping, Spider's mask ran out of air. Everyone hunts for a replacement, and Neytiri is the only one who remained on the sidelines. They eventually saved him, and Jake observes his wife's attitude. Once safe, the Sky Traders arrive at the settlement. The younger ones greet them, and Jake asks the tribal chief for a tiny favor. He wants them to transport Spider to the Omaticaya. Following this, he meets with his family and informs they told them what they planned to do. Jake is the family's leader and makes the decision for them. Soon humanity will return. Furthermore, Spider is a load. Eventually, he will run out of oxygen and die. To be safe, he must return to his own people. Spider pleads him, stating he is a member of this family and does not want to leave. Kiri, Spider, and Lo are all angry with their father. The latter tells him that he has already lost one sibling and does not want to lose another. With no other option, Jake has another idea. The entire family will fly with the Wind Clan, leaving Spider on the Omaticaya. That way they can have one final family vacation. Jake asks the leader whether they will accompany them. They will be protected if a hunter attempts to attack them. After all, he's Toro Macto. The Wind Clan chief welcomes and understands how their firm will benefit them. At night, the grown-ups patrolled while the kids had fun. Despite missing his brother, Loke practiced in the air, believing that at these areas he may connect with him. Jake is distant, and his son requests a firearm. He already knew how to use them and was prepared. When Jake wonders where his communicator is, Loach goes silent and reveals that he has S.A.'s necklace. Jake treats him horribly, and by the time he tries to apologize, it is too late. His son leaves. Elsewhere, Quaritch's buddy informs him that they recently observed the air tribe with spiders in some nearby records, so they'll go for him. At that point, the Ash people, or Ash tribe, come an AT&T. Ack the traitors. Jake asks Lack to watch over the family while he stops the attack. But Loke does not care. He searches for his firearm. But he'd forgotten his communicator, and when he wanted to return, it was too late. He loses his Ikran in an attempt to demonstrate his bravery. As a result, his sisters come close to death. Varong, the Ash tribe's leader, notices him and summons a kamikaze to dispatch him. He barely survives, and Varang injures Neytiri gravely. She attempts to stop her, does not have enough strength and falls off her banshee. Jay interacts with his family, but no one responds. The youngsters barely make it out, while the Wind Clan is not so fortunate. Kiri's Ikran is injured, and as they fall, they have no choice but to leave it there. Kiri asks for forgiveness. But it's not over. Spider's mask is running out of oxygen, and he needs to return to the ship for a replacement. However, they are surprised to discover Varang doing something heinous. She was chopping off the tails of the queues, navigators. As a result, they will not have eternal rest and will be unable to return to Eywa. One of them senses their presence and starts hunting them. Loke kills them with firearms and is shocked by how useful they are despite the amount of harm they cause. Varang dispatches troops to track down the youngsters. The only way out was to get into the water. Tuk was terrified, and Loach reminded her of their family rules, which their father always spoke. While the children are protected, Neytiri's banshee locates its owner. But Spider's oxygen is running out. They had no choice but to go back. Locke despises being the leader because he has no idea what to do in such situations, but they will return nonetheless. When Jake discovers Spider's mask, Quaritch stops him and shackles him. Despite her injuries, Nati hops on her banshee and flees. Despite his hatred for him, Jake tells Quaritch that Spider is in danger. His mask had very little oxygen left, so they had to go back and save him. Quaritch offers to aid him. Now Jake will be the guide. However, he requests to be released, which Quaritch will not grant. Spider was weary, so Loke carried him. At that point, the wood spirits, seeds from the soul tree, float through the environment. Despite the dangers of employing shamanic talents, Kiri communicates with Eywa and inserts one of these seeds into Spider's mouth. He can breathe Pandora's air, since the plant established a symbiosis with his body and adapted. Upon awakening, none of those there comprehended how this was possible. Spider believed he was dead and is relieved that he may now breathe. But at that point, an endless shower of arrows descends on them. The Ash tribe surrounds and subdues them. Varang is interested about the white world and upon seeing Loke's weapon, asks him how to use it. Just in time, Quaritch and Jake appear. Varang is shocked that he can breathe her air, and Kiri makes the mistake of claiming that her companion is still alive because of Eywa. Varang takes Spider and tells her that if she murders the boy, it will be Eywa's decision. Kiri collapses. Varang remains mute, telling her that she is the only one with power there. Quaritch releases Jake as Varang instructs Loke on how to handle his weapon. Jake approaches from behind and murders a few. Quaritch appears and muzzles Varang, stating that if they move, their commander will be killed. She takes advantage of the situation and subdues Quaritch. Seeing all of this, she congratulates him on his ability to resist, but before she kills him, she wants to learn how to use his weapon. He instructs her step by step, and now that she doesn't require him, they may begin the sacrifice ceremony. Finally, Nati arrived with the Omaticaya. Moat and the leader heal her. At the same time, the Ash people were inhaling concoctions while carrying out their pagan ceremony. Kiri connects with the plants, killing the guards. The Ash tribe detects their disappearance and organizes a hunt. The party makes a fast getaway and hides in the river. While Moat prayed for her son's soul, Nati wakes up and, despite her wounds, wishes to find her. Family. The Sully family stops to relax while passing across a swamp. Despite everything, Jake thanks Quick for his assistance, but Quaritch warns him that they are still enemies and that he will seek him when he least expects it. They no longer have animals, weapons, or arrows, only knives, but they may still make peace for the time being. Despite his hatred for him, Jake expresses gratitude to him for raising his son well. He's a good boy. Jake smiles and reminds him that even with a new body, he should try to alter his life. He tells him he is different and has the opportunity to be better, to improve himself. However, Quaritch is unwilling to change. He despises the Na'vi and simply accepts that individuals like himself cannot change. At dawn, the Banshees' cries awaken them. They try to flee, but in the end, it's the Meta clan. Quaritch flees and Nati reunites with her family, but everyone is astonished to learn that Spider can breathe. Norm did not believe it was possible. The granddaughters return to the base and hug their grandmother. Meanwhile, Parker Selfridge returned to Pandora. After much research, Norm realized that the symbiosis Spider possessed had saved him. He is a regular boy. He is healthy and has no difficulties. But Jake was scared. Maybe now the RDA can apprehend him and figure out how to live on Pandora. If they find out, they will face consequences. But that is not all. Spider is developing a tail. Kiri establishes a connection with the spirit tree while with her grandma. She approached the Great Mother for assistance and wanted to know who she was. And why didn't Eywa listen to her? She had an attack, and after recovering, Norm informs Kiri that she does not have a father. She is not a clone. When her mother was dying, they prayed Eywa to save her, and a miracle occurred. Eywa impregnated her mother, which is why she is different. Her family tries to console her, telling her that despite everything, they still love her. While Spider was being examined, Nati informed Jake that they should kill him since he had become a threat to Pandora. After obtaining Tolkien's blood, Sully's returned to the Water Tribe. Tonawari assures him that he will soon meet with the other Tolkien. They will hold a trial for Piakan. Despite this, Ronald was uncomfortable with Spider's presence. Neytiri even went to help her recuperate, but Ronald refuses her assistance. On the contrary, she informs her that her medicine is ineffective and that if she were with the Omaticaya, she could be well within a week. Both debate, and the Tulkun begin the trial that night. They express their unhappiness to Piakan because he instills dangerous beliefs in the younger ones. Lok wants his father to intervene and explain what Piakan did for them. In the end, Piakan will be exiled, and his song will never be heard again. Lak becomes enraged and informs everyone that Piakan fought for them. If he is alone, he will die. Jake removes his son from the meeting and tells him he is reckless and rude. In addition, because of his immaturity and foolishness, his brother perished. Through sobs, Lok explained that it was not his fault. Nati then urges her husband to speak with his kid, but he is unsure what to do. Despite this, Nati blamed Spider and intended to kill him, but Jake warned her not to. If she continues to harbor hatred, she will eventually destroy herself. She claims she despises humans, but Jake reminds her that he was once one. Their children are half-breeds. They have human-like hands, yet they are not identical. So, if she hates humanity, she also despises her family. Despite this, she sobs and Jake begs for forgiveness. Lok takes his rifle and prepares to do something crazy, but he does not. His sister and girlfriend advise him not to, as he is important. Despite this, they unear his mother's bow and attempt to repair it over the next few days, as Spider successfully rides his first creature. To get further answers, Quaritch and his followers tormented another tribe in search of his son. But, unsure of what to do, Quaritch comes up with a new plan. He will visit the Ash tribe. They resided in an ancient charred woodland, and as soon as he comes, the locals begin beating him. Varang exits her hut and pays her tribute. She wanted to kill him now that she had what she wanted. But Quaritch has a better plan. He tells his men to shoot point blank and warns Varang that the next shot would go to his head. She brings him into her hut and applies a mystical powder to him. Quaritch had never taken a hit like that before, and he described it as strong. Varang uses that substance to inform him that when she was a youngster, the huge fire mountain exploded with a toxic liquid that burned her entire body. City. She prayed to Eywa, but received no response. On the contrary, she realized that Eywa is not omnipotent. She eventually learned about the power of fire and how to use it. She wonders what he's looking for. To which he responds that he and she were looking for an equal, someone similarly powerful who could challenge them. If she wants weapons, he will provide them to her. If she craves fire, so will he. She will be able to tear her opponents apart and become a mighty entity. These words astonish her. To gain her trust, he delivers what he promised. After 2 films, Quaritch stops being racist and, as a reward, invites him to her hut. While the others connected with Eywa, Spider worried if he would be able to accompany them when he died, or if he would die alone. Kiri says he might be able to, but she's not certain. Despite her injuries, Nati continued training. Tira recently learned that Piakan had been heard, therefore Lak will go seeking for him, but first his mother hands him her bow. Lok searches for Piakan. Tonawari's children come after him, and then tell Jake what happened. He knew they'd return eventually, so he had to wait and have confidence. Meanwhile, Loa searches through a water hell seeking Piakan. Not far away, Quaritch and his toxic lover were tormenting another tribe. Kiri was collecting water and noticed a spider. The Ash tribe discovers them while they are going home. Spider orders Kiri to flee, but Quaritch tracks him down. Then they bring him to the RDA. In the distance, Jake sees the ships arriving. She concludes that getting to safety is the best option. Kiri informs her father that Spider has been captured. Quaritch travels to the coast with the Ash tribe. Both Tonawari and Ronald advise their guys to remain vigilant. Quaritch arrives at the shore and demands Jake's surrender, but first he pleads Nati not to fight, to do nothing, and to let music him go, because if she did, the RDA would murder them all. The water tribe intended to battle. Quaritch fires down some houses, and Jake surrenders, pleading them not to fight. He does not want anyone killed, but Quaritch also wants Nati to submit. Varang desired her heart, but they eventually reached an arrangement and avoided killing one other. They decide to take just Jake. Nati watches as her spouse gets apprehended. When the colonel arrives, he questions Quaritch about his involvement with these filthy Indians. She didn't want them here, but Quaritch insists she give them some credit. Besides, everyone is pleased to have apprehended Jake Sully, while Bang asks her people to stand, maintain a straight face and no signs of weakness. On the other hand, Spider will be investigated. The colonel steps out of her automobile and asks Quaritch what he was doing with those filthy Indians. She didn't want them here, but Quaritch insists she gives some credit. In addition, they are all relieved that Jake Sully has been captured. The colonel will discharge him and transport him to jail, but Quaritch advises her not to be so dumb and to embrace the moment. She gives in, and they simulate exams on Spider. When Loach searches for Piakan, his buddies discover him. But that point, he comes upon an assassin's alarm, which kills you if they spot you. Finally, due to the Tolkien, they are spared. Loke is becoming more mindful, and we appreciate everyone's presence, but they tell him they are friends, and no matter what happens, they will remain together. Quaritch talks to his son in the RDA base, but he does not accept him to be his father because he is a clone and not the actual one. But Quaritch tells him he is correct. But that's not everything. He has experienced numerous things, some positive and others negative. Despite everything, he loves him, and so did his mother. She perished in battle, and Spider begs for his dog tag before departing. He gives it to him, and in the Marek he encounters Bayakan. He can locate the only survivor of his clan. Tunnock is a blind Tolkien with numerous wounds. It will soon be Tolkien's ballot, so the RDA will seize all of the Tolkien, turning a year's profit into a week's profit. But Ian, the biologist, declined because it was inexcusable. He is ignored, and the mission will shortly commence. Jake was in a cell nearby when Quaritch arrived to inform him of the good news. Soon he will be executed in a rather decent manner. He will be shot by a Marine, but Jake, despite everything, wanted to evangelize Quaritch and convince him that it is time to see the world through different eyes. Despite this, Quaritch goes and tells him he'll see him at 6 a.m. Despite Jake's words, Neytiri accepts the explosive arrows. She intends to attack the RDA camp with her father's dishes. Spider flees. Neytiri murders the locals and steals their tracker. After firing, Neytiri enters the RDA. Ian takes a tank, and Spider disguises himself as a mechanic. When Neytiri arrives at the Ash tribal camp, she enters Barang's cabin and demands explanations. She wants to know where her husband is, and if she yells, she is going to chop her high. But for a brief while, Neytiri becomes preoccupied. Barang takes advantage of it. Despite everything, Neytiri flees with the arrows. She causes turmoil at the base. Neytiri is pursued by the Ash tribe, but she manages to escape due to the species difference. Ian, using an excavator, ruins Jake's cell, allowing him to escape. Being in a slightly safer environment, he introduces himself to Jake. He compliments him and praises his work with the Na'vi. But he has no idea how to get out of this situation. In the end, a ship surrounds them, but Ian manages to escape. Spider steps in front of him to protect him from being killed. Jake is able to flee thanks to his shield. The general wanted both of them to die, but Quaritch begged her not to. But once they have him in their sights, Neytiri destroys the ship and saves her husband. He is overjoyed to see her and tells her that he can't decide whether to kiss her or shout at her. While at home, they decide to rest. Spider takes advantage of the situation and urinates. But Jake had changed. He intended to do something with Spider. Despite everything, he tells Neytiri she's right. Leaving Spider alive is a mistake. If the RDA captures him, all of Pandora would be jeopardized, and the Na'vi will perish, so he asks for her knife to finally put an end to this. Neytiri, despite everything, encourages him to reconsider. He saved his life, but Jake ignores his wife and begs Spider to take a walk. Neytiri was bewildered and didn't know what to do. Neytiri regretted walking to such a distant location. Jake instructs Spider to kneel and stare forward. Regardless, he informs him that if he continues to live, he will endanger everyone. Jake asks for pardon and admits that what he was doing was wrong. Neytiri reconsiders and attempts to stop him. Before killing him, Spider inquires if he loves him. Jake tells him that he loves him like another son, but when he was supposed to execute the task, he refused and instead hugged him. Neytiri finds him and informs him that she sees him. They are a powerful family that will do anything to avoid losing another member. Knowing that the conflict is imminent, Toruk Makto must return. So Jake goes to see the enormous beast. According to Lak, Toruk adored his father and longed to see him again because they were unstoppable when they were together. Tok Makto returned moments later. He summons Tonawari to rise. Toro must now unite the clans, both aerial and marine. In the end, they meet the clans from the first film. And, knowing that there will be marine ships, Jake tries to communicate to the mother of the Tolkien, explaining that the war is coming and the goal was to merge as a clan. But when he wanted to speak more, Lok and Piakan had returned. Tonawari informs him that they have no voice or vote. Here you are in exile. Lak and his brothers face the same fate, so the Great Mother lets them speak. Despite his faults, Piakan fought for himself. Soon the white monkeys will approach and slaughter numerous Tolkien, so he invites Tannock to present himself to them. Tannock informs him that he experienced fear and anguish. All of this was an awful experience. After all, the Tolkien assure him that they will respond soon. Meanwhile, the whale hunter planned for tomorrow's hunt. The Tolkien will gather and simply slaughter them. Quaritch, now dressed in the Fire Native's clothes, asks him why they did not copy him. However, he was no longer a member of this. Now he will be imprisoned and judged for failing to complete his mission, and he will remain in this location with the other indigenous. Ronal was nearing the end of her pregnancy, so she expects that Sully family to carry out their mission. Before departing, Loke says farewell to his mother and his father, who has finally trusted him, and hands him his weapon, hoping that he would protect his family, and that if something awful happens, he will be able to flee and hide in the forest. The clans have arrived. The RDA does as well. And in the middle of the sea, a gravity rift appeared, absorbing everything it touched. So it's best to be cautious. The RDA wipes out its ships, and the whale killer tells his men to get ready because Jake Sully and his guys, they were not present. The hunter requests that they be vigilant, and the Tolkien descend beneath them, prompting Bayakan to follow her lead. The giant mother crushes the ships and eliminates all military personnel present. Jake gives the order, and the remaining warriors, both airborne and marine, launch an attack. Toruk Makto destroys the planes, while Tonawari instructs his men to kill the soldiers after it appeared they had won the conflict. The Ash tribe presents themselves on the battlefield, begins to eliminate all of its adversaries. The eclipse begins, and we witness as everyone falls. This was an unprecedented massacre. Kiri wants to assist. Perhaps she will die, but she has resolved to connect with the Great Mother and seek Eywa for assistance. The military was passing through, and Spider planned to stay to protect her, while Loke and Piakan slay several troops. Kiri connects and tries to get assistance from the Great Mother, but once again Eywa kicks her out. Spider connects and attempts to assist her, while the military murders Oshuna. The Tolkien, like Spider, rely on Eywa for support. In the air, Barang fights Neytiri. In the spiritual realm, we see Grace, or at least her face. Before being connected, Kiri requested her assistance, stating that her people are dying and that she needed her help. When she ran out of bullets, Nati wanted to murder Bang, but she still had her flamethrower. Her Banshee is wounded, and Ronal is badly hit by an arrow. But this isn't everything. Toruk Makto is defeated and falls into the sea. Jake was feeble. Jake Neytiri was wounded during the Piakan has a leg similar to this. In the end, Jake realizes that they lost and has no other options. But, by a miracle, Eywa assists Kiri, while Loach saves his father. And, despite being wounded, Neytiri assists Ronald in giving birth, while Loke saves his father. And, despite her injuries, she did not want to die before meeting her son. Jake pulls out his arrow. Spider returned for Kiri, and she was okay. Regardless of all, Ronal gives birth. She gives her son a name Bifo, re-dying. Regardless of his failures, Jake asks. He asked his son for forgiveness. He understands that he is putting pressure on him, which is not appropriate. Bayakan is rescued from the bottom of the sea by the Great Mother. But this isn't everything. Quaritch captures Took. Despite the fatalities, the whale hunter wanted to continue his task and extract all of the liquid. His partner asks whether he's sure, and he responds yes. They must take full advantage of the occasion. Similarly, Quaritch discovers Nati under threat of captivity, and they take her bow as war booty. After that, they speak with Jake and tell him he must surrender, and also Spider, otherwise he will kill his wife, and he should trust him because his new lover wished this. The military continues to harm the Tolkien. When the extraction was about to begin, Eywa ordered every living and thinking entity to join the struggle. Before they begin, Kiri commands the octopuses to kill all humans. Despite his wounds, Toruk Makto lifts his wings and, along with the Ikran, defeats his foes. The main ship will eventually sink. Bayakan finds the whale hunter and instructs Tanuk to exact revenge for everything that had occurred. The Sullys arrived at the ship, and Quaritch demanded Jake's surrender. Loke assists him from a distance, and Spider will surrender. The support will be Kir, and Jake will be HC. Jake murders a couple people after Quaritch gives birth to his son. Nati gets to escape, but Barang is about to kill him. Kiri tortures her, but she flees. Quaritch attempts to run, and Jake follows him, so both fight in the gravitational rift, and with no weapons or other means of defense, they fight hand to hand. All of the ships are destroyed. Barang fled, like the Sullys. In the midst of the struggle, Spider shoots his father in the arm, threatening to murder him if he moves. Both fought, and Spider was about to tumble in. To the vacuum. Both parents save him. Quaritch admits that he can change. Now he can improve. Jake offers him the opportunity. However, as Neytiri and her people come, Quaritch pulls a Cerberus and throws himself into the vacuum. It's possible that he died. Probably not. We still need to watch what occurs because without a body, there is no dead man. Despite the casualties, the Sully family reunites, the eclipse is over, and a new day begins. After the conflict, the entire tribe, including Spider, joins to the Tree of Souls. In the hereafter, the dead were waiting for him, and here we meet Sut, Neytiri's father, her sister Oshuna, Ronald.